Yeah, guys, welcome back. The last time we spoke, I told us that I'm going to be doing modeling. Modeling is one of the powerful shortcuts that you can use to make up for lost time. If you want a speed lane, so to say, the fast lane in design, it's modeling. So, and then modeling with the use of the internet, those two combined can get you to have so much progress in a short time. If you look at the time, it's 1:17 a.m. So sometimes for some people, graphics design is a night nocturnal job. So it's a night job for some people, but you can always arrange it to fit your own time. Sometimes I'm working till 3 4, you know, so um because sometimes there's light without interruption in the nighttime, or you have a deadline to meet, and then you do this. So what do we mean by modeling? Modeling is just to copy what other people have done. You know, we can talk about Pablo Picasso. There's a comment he made one time. um, I don't know if I need to put this here, but there's someone, I posted this to someone in the past to show them that stealing is part of art. When you copy something that is good, that's modeling. So I want, whenever you get a job, maybe someone asks you to do a brochure, the cover of a brochure for a school or something, like this one is University Handbook back cover design, you know. So this is basically what I came on Pinterest, pinterest.com. You can download the app. It will help you as a designer. If you're a designer and you don't use Pinterest, then you are not a designer. Pinterest is like the holy grail of design, where you get inspiration and all of that. So you just come here, type something, you sign up, and then you just type something, and whatever it is, university handbook or burial brochure, Nigeria, it will give you samples of all of these things. So like assuming I say birthday design, sorry, birthday design samples, you see a lot of inspiration. So you can actually copy any of them and model what you want to design. You can just mimic any of these designs, and you'll be a professional designer. There are many of them. So this is where you stay, and you sleep here, you do morning devotion here, you do afternoon devotion here. So what we are doing is something like a handbook, right? So let's look for a handbook that we, just a simple handbook that we can actually design in a couple of minutes as our first lesson in modeling. Maybe we can do this. Yeah, we can also do this one, but let's do this. I think this might be easier to do, right? So let's just do this. You just copy it, you open CorelDRAW, you you click to open a new file, a new work. So this is A4, it's already on A4, so I'll leave all my settings. You can just give it practice 6 or 5 depending. So you just click OK. Like, we'll click on our rectangle to give us the paper we are working on, and I right click on this empty space to remove the border. I always like to remove that black border. And there's something else I want you to learn in this canvas. I want you to always come here and pick this dotted line here. Pick one. Just when you click on it, you drag it, you come to the center here and drop it. This is to mark the center of, you zoom closer, you see it's not really on that line, so you just carry it Immediately you come to that point, it will kind of halt, and it will the line will become white. Then you drop it, knowing that this is the center of it. So you just scroll back. And you scroll back. So of course, this is how we put it inside. You do frame type, create empty power clip, right? When you do that, it gives you something that you can enter in, a power clip you can enter in, and then you drop that sample you have. So if we want to model this, of course the first thing we do is also to create a background, so that our background will not be transparent. So you color it like white and push it down to the bottom. So these are objects. You can always pull up your object panel so that you will see the things you have and the ordering. So you come book writer's name, so you can just do this with your own name. My name is Uche Odd Speed. Then the book, I can call the book a book cover practice. So graphics design. Okay, so when you have these three, this is basically the three things that we have here. I probably have given you some fonts, so with those fonts you are good to go. So because fonts are very powerful in design, a good font can change game for you. So I'll just pick Tomato Grotesque Black, and it's a good font that I like using. So just so there's, I told you about an eyedropper tool. You carry it and pick this color, carry another one, pick the yellow. You can even carry it and pick this navy blue. I always like to use that navy blue to work. So we may not necessarily use this color, we can use another color, but basically to do the same thing. So the first thing we have here, if you do Ctrl K, you will unlink the texts that came together. You unlink them by Ctrl K, so that you can have these things separated. So I can do this like this, which is odd speed, put it around here, make it a little bit smaller, and then drag it up here. You remember all of this? Yeah. So how do we do these things that we saw here? So one of the ways to do it, because you already have a white background, you will just notice that these are just two elements that they color differently. So the first element is something like the yellow, that is like this. So you color it yellow, you remove the outline. So you Ctrl Q it to curve it. Ctrl Q curves it. Ctrl and Q, it curves it, and you understand what we mean by curving. So with that curve, you can now click on the curve shape tool and you curve. You just pull it up like this. You'll be watching your model, and then you do something like this. You drag it up. Then the bottom, you also click on it with your left click, right? Of course, your right click, sorry, to curve. You see the curve. You now push it up, right? You push it up like this, just the way it is there. Then you drag this down, copying what you're seeing. So we drag it down here, something like this. You also just make sure you copy what you see there. So another element, Ctrl D, will double this for you, so you have two of it. So you can also, of course, draw your own elements as a new one, a rectangle. Ctrl Q it to curve it, and then you start doing it back to look like the green one. But if we don't want all of that, you just duplicate this, Ctrl D, duplicate. You color it the color we have here, and you start changing it to look like the other one. So you click on the shape tool there, and you move it like this. Now it's about 2 points, 3 points. It has about 3 points, looking more like a triangle that was shaped. So you can just line art, so you have something like this. Then you can convert it back to curve, so you can move it around. So you move this like this. You remember that this is almost like this, right? So you drag it up, you move this up a little bit, making sure it aligns with the other one, and then this down here, you move it up a bit and move it down like this. You use this to move it around so that it will look like what you are working with, right? So something like this. When you have something like this, then you create a white outline for it. So you just color it with your right click. You come here, right click white, and thicken it. Let's say 24. Yeah, 24 kind of. With this, you can bring this one up a little bit. So we can push this up like this, and yeah, so something like this. I'm still going to bring it down, so you just shift it down a little bit. And then I think there's more white on the bottom, so we can actually, okay, there's another way we can actually do this. So we remove the border on this, right, so that it's like this. Then you double it, which means you click Ctrl C, copy it, and then you make this one now that you're working on white, right? When you make it white, you widen it, and if you widen it, you bring this a little bit up, do this one to be close to what you are mimicking. Of course, when you are doing some things like this, you can even do something better than what you already have there. So when you have something like this, you can paste the one you copied, right, to see the difference between that and what you have. So with that, we can bring this lower. We'll bring this like this. Yeah. So you see that we almost have this here perfect, exactly as we have here. You move it, you just be following what you have there, something like this, to push it up. Yeah, something like this until it's close to what you have there. So I think this is close enough. Yeah. So you move this up, you just highlight all of this, and then you shift and you press your page up, which is on the 9. page up. So that gives you book cover practice up. You break it like this, kind of push this up a little bit, make this one smaller, and if you notice this one is not thick, so we can change the grotesque font to something lighter, something normal, grotesque regular, right? You color it yellow, right? Okay, let's just use the color they used. I'll color this like this and color this exact same color. So with this we have something down here a little bit like this. So you have something like this. When you're copying, you also maintain some originality, something that looks like that this is your own, right? So we have this. Why did I create this line? So that you can centralize some things, assuming this thing is on the center, like we did the central align, right? Then you can just move it until it's centers directly on that line, like this. With this, you know you are in the center. Then you can always use the guideline. You see the white line that comes out. When it gets to that middle, it kind of halts. You understand? It sets itself there. But you can also do it with your hand with that trick of drawing a line. So we just have this here. So you write your name and use this same thing I did to redesign this, right? You can go online and look for this and design it on Pinterest. So you have finished your design, you close it, and then you export. So we call it practice 6 book cover. You save it, and yeah, you have it here. Maintain size, right? So you have this, you save it. So most times when I want to send people work, I use mockup. So I go to a site called mockupbro. mockupbro.com. You look for the print packaging mockup or book mockup, right? We can even use a book. Let me use the one for a book, so that you see the power of what we created. Okay, so it's here. Well, let me do number 1, where I have a couple of book mockup, right? Prints. Just give me a minute. Sorry that this video is taking long, but am I sure my internet is still connected? Okay. If it is not connecting, I think I'll just use let's use this. Okay, let's just use this one here. Let me just use this here. So you come here, you can always pick any of the mockups. Mockup is something like a realistic view of the production, the design you made. So if we pick prints, there are some for packaging, some for clothes, decor, social media, depending on the design you made. You can come here. These are free ones, but there are other ones you can get on Photoshop. But when we come to Photoshop, we'll talk about all of that. I don't even know why the site is misbehaving at this time of night. Okay, so let's just use this one. You upload. So when you upload, you see, you can always come here and type book work or whatever title you used for it, right? So so it comes here, book cover practice. You okay, you open it, then you set it up, you zoom it, because you see it's inside the perimeter of the dimension of the design. So you use here to zoom it, and when it fills up the space, you crop and continue. You click on the blue. and you have the design here. So you now download. When you download, you can use this to send to your clients that this is the design I did for you. So can you do this? So if you don't have this font, you can use any other font, but if you have this font, you can also use it. It's called grotesque, tomato grotesque font, right? You can also use Aharoni, because look, this looks like Aharoni, or it could also be Montserrat. So any bold font that you can use is fine with us. Thank you for your attention. 20 minutes. Wow, sorry.